Hi, guys. Welcome back to Emotionally Unavailable. I'm your host, Malisa Hepner. Thanks for being here. I think today will mostly be a grief update because that's what I've been experiencing this week. And so, if this is your first episode, I lost my son, Jake, who was a few months shy of 19 in December, on December 13th, right before Christmas, to a synthetic opioid overdose. It's a new synthetic opioid. He's the first documented case in Oklahoma, which is where I live. So anyway, I kind of hate that I never do these when I'm like in the middle of shit, but damn, dude, today, like, I had to just force myself to come and record because I was like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, like, in terms of getting ready. Cause, like, I mean, I try not to look like complete garbage these days. I really don't care, but sometimes whenever I'm like watching clips back, I'm like, a little effort might have been okay. Just a little bit of effort would have been okay. But it was preventing me from doing it. So perfect is the enemy of good. So here we are. Me and all of my greasy hair glory. So okay, this week has been very, very heavy. I can already tell I'm going to cry during this. So cool. So I came into this week really exhausted, which I told you guys last Monday because of stuff that had happened over the weekend. If you want to know about that, I don't feel like getting into the entire story again, but actually the episode of Unquiet Soul, my other podcast, in case you don't know, I have another podcast with a co-host, Angie Hawkins. She's an inner glow coach. We do very similar things, and we both happen to be Gemini sun, Leo moons. Actually, our astrology is pretty much the same, except for she was born the day after me. And so she is a Scorpio rising. I'm an Aries rising. So we just vibed right away, and I was like, dude, I wanted another show where we talk about a lot of the same stuff, but in a little bit more of a lighthearted way, and where I'm just like chatting with my friend, you know? And so we have that show, but that episode will come out Tuesday at noon Central. So if you want to hear that whole story, that will be up then. But long story short, there was a field trip that Charlie was supposed to go on. That's my 12-year-old daughter. Well, she's almost 12. And her fucking bus crashed and all kinds of stuff. Just spoiler alert, she's fine. Everyone was fine, mostly. Did find out later some kids got concussions, but I don't even know if I've told Angie that yet. I gotta tell her that. Anyway, it was an exhausting day. Sunday, also exhausting. So I came into this week exhausted. I have had PMS all week long. If you're new, I have PMDD. So PMS is just kind of a rougher time for me anyway. Just a lot of like, I'll call it melancholy and agitation, those two things together. So Monday was decent. I remember being tired, but it actually was pretty decent. I have a new client on Monday nights who's young and just, I don't know, we're vibing. And all my new clients recently, like all my clients are cool, but like it's nice when you get new clients who you're still vibing with. Cause like I have a split right now of like half of my like OG people who came to me right after I started practicing on my own. And then throughout the last couple of years, I've, sporadically had some that were just short term. So why am I talking about this? Anyway, all my new clients we've really been just vibing. And I love that because that's how the number one way, I guess I'll say that, like, I have realized that, like, I'm not saying enough of why I am doing as well as I am. All the tools in the world can't outrun like a really fucking miserable life if that's what you were living before loss. You know what I mean? If I were doing things all the time that I just dreaded doing, that I didn't feel like I had the energy, this would be a much different scenario. I wouldn't have made it. You know what I mean? So, um, for me, already having an established like work from home situation, I did drop a few clients because it really wasn't a vibe issue. It was inconsistency. They were inconsistent in their scheduling. And that was just something that was really irritating my spirit, like really irritating because they were like canceling last minute. And a lot of it was like, I'm working up the nerve all day to do this because I was so tired in those early days. And then you're not even showing up. Anyway, it felt like the right thing to do. Anyone that wasn't like showing up consistently, and also I was really nervous about like how that was going to affect, just all kinds of stuff. So anything that didn't light me up that I was doing, I can't do it anymore. That's honestly one of the reasons I haven't put out a workbook since Jake died. I've worked on 2. One is even pretty close to done, and I just don't enjoy doing it. So I just can't right now, you know? It just takes a lot of energy and capacity that I don't necessarily feel like I have all the time. And so truly, I can see why on the outside it looks like I'm doing so well. And I mean, I am, but there are parts like that you don't see or know about. Like I have about 60% of the capacity that I used to have for life in general. Like, um, if you've been around, you know that I really tried to like stop sleeping as much because I was not able to get anything done and I was causing a lot of stress for myself. So my new thing, because I felt ready, was to not go back to sleep after Charlie goes to school in the morning, which I've done a really good job of, but I'm still sleeping every day by 3 o'clock. And I'm trying to sleep a couple hours there. And then on Mondays and Tuesdays, I have evening clients. I've been attending a grief group every other Tuesday. So, like, sorry, I'm fighting this inner narrative that's like, nobody cares, shut up. So, anyway, I'm just gonna breathe for a second. So, on those nights, I don't see my Tuesday clients that I usually see, and I see those on Wednesday, which truly doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but it is. It's making me more tired. But so there's that. I don't clean a lot. I don't cook a lot. I shower pretty much daily, but I'm not washing my hair enough. I brush my teeth almost every day, but that doesn't even happen every day. There are days I show up looking like this with clients because I'm just so fucking tired that day. So, like, yeah, I'm not going insane the way I would have imagined myself to, but that's because I don't have to go to like a job I hate or spend time with people I don't want to spend time with. You know, like I'm really intentional about those things. So anyway, I just wanted to say that because like I don't want anyone to ever feel like I'm shaming them or judging because of how they're coping with grief just because I feel like I'm doing a really good job. And I am, and I'm not going to take away from myself. But while I am doing a really good job, that doesn't mean it's perfect, which I'm fine with. I said from the beginning, I'm not going to show up perfectly, nor my capacity doesn't allow perfection. I wouldn't want perfection anyway, but you know what I'm saying? Like I'm doing my best and I am okay with what that looks like right now, but you don't see the full picture all the time. So there you go. Okay. So Monday was decent. Tuesday, not decent. Not decent at all. Charlie had a choir concert at night and it was at the high school. Jake just graduated high school last May. And so just being at the high school just felt shitty. I hated being there. Music makes me cry. And I was so agitated, I think, just from PMS and just the griefy feelings. I was just so pissed off the whole time. They sang like with the middle school choir too, and the middle school girls were just theatrical and dramatic, and just everything they did in their seats was just loud and chaotic. And I was frustrated at people whose crying babies were in the auditorium. And then I was like trying not to judge myself for how agitated I was, and I was just trying to calm down. And then I was just like, "Look, dude, you feel agitated. Just get through this evening." I thought they did a really great job and stuff, but they played Bohemian Rhapsody, and I don't even know why this is making me cry, but it made me cry then. I think just because he's singing to his mom, and it really got me. So I was just in a shit mood, and I've just been really tired this week from PMS, so got through that and felt glad I was through it, I guess. I think the rest of the week was okay. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty okay. Like, I can't think of anything else that happened because I think I was just dreading Tuesday so much because I knew in my spirit being at the high school was going to be hard for me. Yeah, the rest of the week it was okay. Wednesday and Thursday were what they were, like a fast, easy, no big. Thursday night, I took Charlie to see The Devil Wears Prada 2, and we had so much fun. And I let her stay out of school on Friday. Friday was decent. I was done with my stuff by like noon. And so, yeah, that was pretty easy. But then it was like I really wanted to have plans or something to do. And I've never been great at creating plans. I mean, if you're into human design, I'm a generator. I respond. I don't create that much. You know what I mean? So, like, if my family's like, this sounds fun, then I can create a whole plan around that. But like, I just can't. And so, what are you doing? Bryson's outside my window. So, anyway, I kind of wanted something to do, but I didn't have anything to do, so I was bored. I did not allow the boredom to like transcend what it used to, which is like loneliness. But I just felt so agitated, you know? Sure, part of that was because I was going into the full moon energy. And then Saturday was the full moon. Wait, was Friday the full moon? Friday was the full moon. Yeah, Friday was the full moon. So that was probably why I was so agitated. I noticed. I just did not. I was like, girl, you have PMS and it's a full moon. We shall not digress. It was just like, I just was like, it is what it is. Let's just be chill. So I just kind of just didn't lean into anything. I was just like, doo. And then Saturday, she had a band concert back at the fucking high school. The band concert I was particularly dreading because the last thing that we did as a family with all of us was go to her fall band concert. I think it was in early November. And it was a fucking awful night. And Jake was in a really bad mood. And he and Bryson ended up getting into a really bad argument in the car afterwards. And then he left when we got home. So it was just a really bad night. So I was really dreading it. For so many reasons. But I was also proud of myself because one of the things that I've been working on is inviting my family to things like that are of Charlie's because I overthink this shit a lot. Like, will they feel burdened? What do you do when it's over? Do you just say thanks for coming, goodbye? Like, I just have never really like asked someone who didn't go, let me know, like when there's stuff happening, like grandparents. So it's just new for me and it was weird. But it was my sisters both showed up, and my nieces, and my one sister's husband. And it's really nice. It was very comforting to have them there, and it actually made the whole thing just 1,000 times better. And so I was really grateful that they were there. And one of my sisters is a florist, and she made Charlie a really beautiful bouquet of flowers. So that was really nice. Um, And then yesterday, all I wanted to do was sleep the day away, like after it was over, after the concert. And then there was part of me like warring with guilt that I'm not doing more fun stuff with Charlie on the weekends and whatever. And then I woke up today in the worst fucking mood and was just trying not to like lean into that too much. And part of the mood was because I was feeling really overwhelmed by my to-do list. And it was like, I have to do this to be able to do this and this to be able to do this. Like, I've got to wash my hair and get ready before I can go do this thing that I need to do. And both of those things need to be done before I can go do this thing. And I really need to pick up the house and whatever. And I did get the living room and kitchen picked up kind of quickly, which felt good. And then I was like sitting here just like so in a bad mood and not really knowing like what to do next. And I was like, you know what? I really need some sunshine. Like, fuck my to-do list. I really need some sunshine. So I went outside and read for like 30 minutes, and my entire day improved so much from that. And then after that, I hung out with the fam for a little bit, watching some NBA, and then I actually made dinner, which I haven't done in months, like at least 2. And so that felt really good and felt nourishing to eat like real food, not something fucking fried like that you air fry. So that felt really good. And then I was like in the best mood ever, like after that. And especially because the book I was reading was Kelsey Aida. She was on here a few weeks ago, talking about manifesting. She had given me very kindly an advanced copy of her new book coming out, The Manifesting Fix. And so it really like just the parts I've read so far, I've read like 3 chapters, really touched on the things that I've been, just intuitively kind of leaning into anyway about like resistance and, in essence, basically how I'm making my outer world match my inner world and not always aware of it. So I don't know. It felt really good. And yeah, I was happy to do that and just feel so good afterwards. Gonna watch some more basketball later. So I think for this week I've just really had to be like I feel it, but I'm not analyzing it. I'm not trying to necessarily work with anything that's coming up right now. I'm just kind of noticing it and choosing to not engage with it, if that makes sense. Because with hormones, like it's just so hard to control things. Like I don't cry very much when I don't have PMS. I can cry easily, but it's not like this, like where I'm crying about my fucking sister showing up to the damn band thing. Now I'm crying again. Anyway, yeah, I just it's nice. I like the this level of closeness with him because you'll hear me discuss this with an episode I just did with Kirsten again, and that'll come out, I think, this week. But like, there's this what I call a disconnect because it's numbness, but only to Jake. When I don't have really bad PMS, like I don't feel numb overall, but I feel numb to that a lot of time. But I don't feel as close to him sometimes. And I think this is just the part of grief where that's why people actively choose pain, like making themselves listen to sad songs, things like that, because they feel like they have to be immersed in that. I know I did whenever I was going through this with my dad at 15. But I decided to not be afraid of that months ago and just go, I guess sometimes this is how it's going to be because your nervous system does only have a certain amount of capacity, which Kirsten and I get into. But like, if I don't want to die of broken heart syndrome, like I have to just lean into what my nervous system is allowing for. And so for me, it's been this really weird. It does a little bit make me sad how numb I can get to this because I have trouble remembering him during that time. Like I know I've told you guys this before, but it's like he existed in an alternate reality. Like I'm not even going to continue to keep trying to describe it because I can't ever describe it, but it's like, it's not that. The closest I can get to saying it is like, in those times of numbness, it's not that it's hard to believe he's gone. It's hard to believe he ever existed because there is such a barrier between me and that pain a lot of time. About 2 weeks of the month, and then a week after I ovulate, which I will say the PMDD does seem to be getting better, I think as I used my tools for grief because it's only been this week that's been really bad, so and we had a bunch of triggers. Graduation's fucking coming up. I'm seeing these posts of all these people posting their seniors, and it was just a year ago that we were there with Jake. We had so much hope that day, and that's bizarre to me. And I mean, thank God we didn't know what would come, but it's hard to think back about that. So I guess, yeah, it's just been, I'm just glad to feel a little closer to him right now. I'm not like forcing it. It just is what it is. I guess I feel a little more human whenever, yeah. Okay, so like when I have PMS and I'm all like emotional like this, that's a good way to describe it, is like I'm more human. Whereas when I'm not experiencing this, I feel more tapped into like higher self energy. So it's a good balance of both. I just do have to be very careful about how I manage this energy because I mean, it can drown you quick if you let it, you know? So yeah, I've just kind of been like noticing and choosing not to really engage unless something actually comes up. I will say, my sensitivity to others during this period, like it's, I guess, forever going to be a thing where I'm like, they're ignoring me. Somebody, like, someone didn't return a text or whatever. But I've started saying to myself, if them not messaging me back or them kind of not being super present at all didn't mean anything about me, how would I feel right now? And if I'm being 1,000% honest, it kind of just, that's it. It's gone. As soon as I'm not telling myself a story about how that means I'm unlovable or unworthy, I'm kind of like, oh, it means they're busy. Busy's fine. I don't live in that like unprioritized place like I did back when I really lived in victimhood. So yeah, it doesn't mean anything about me. So that's really helped me through PMS where I can get a little more tender about some things. So yeah, that's been a really good tool this week. And trying to think, I guess that's kind of it. I'm just seconds away from starting my period and feeling really good right now. And it really is just in the little things where it's just one small choice and then the next small choice. I think it's really easy for us to feel like if we want change, we have to create change every minute of every day and in this really big way. But when I decided I'm going to just throw my to-do list out the window and go sit outside, I did that and I felt amazing. And then the next step was to do another aligned action. For me, it was make dinner because I haven't done that in a while. Felt good to be active in that way and to eat food that felt nourishing. So yeah, like I had vegetables for the first time in a while. So yeah, I think one little small action, like that's not new information. I think I just have a new understanding of that. or a deeper understanding, and that it doesn't need to be like some arbitrary action. It needs to be aligned with what your goals are. But if your goal is feel better, it's not really hard to find some small thing you can do there, you know? So anyway, I am just fighting this entire time with like, you sound stupid. Nobody cares. My brain is just being really terrible right now. So just want to be really honest about that. Yeah. I think I'm gonna call it there. I want to enjoy some more NBA with my family, and I'm about to go record my first audio note for the Patreon. Been beating myself up a little bit about that, so I want to get it done. Just trying to do things imperfectly because I've been putting like roadblocks up for myself, and I just don't need to. So I think the audio will get better, stronger as I continue to do that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm building an audio library for the $10 tier in my Patreon so that, like, if you're in a spiral, I will help basically walk you through it, kind of co-regulate with you. And so I'm going to do that now. If you're not already listening to Unquiet Soul, I'm going to link Tuesday's episode in can't can't link Tuesday's episode in the show notes. I will link just the Spotify and Apple links to the show itself and give Tuesday's episode a listen. If you love extra content from me, you can have content 4 days a week from me that way because I release episodes here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we release on Tuesdays. So yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for being here. I love you. I feel like this entire episode was a shit show, and I'll let it be a shit show. So thank you so much for being here. Thanks for coming to Emotionally Unavailable. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and share.